Greetings to you from Massachusetts. My name is Margaret Scott. I'm a retired missionary of the Church of the Nazarene. My husband and I served in Eurasia region from 1974, that's ancient history, until 2000 when we were transferred to the continent of Africa. We had been missionaries for a number of years and knew about Africa, but there were many things we had to learn about Africa when we went to live there. One of the surprising things is just how big Africa is, and I think it shows up well on this map. You see in brown is the United States of America, and China's in red, and India's in orange, and countries of Europe are in different colors. Look how big Africa is as compared to the United States. Sometimes we equate America and Africa, but Africa is really huge. How many countries are there in the continent of Africa? We had to learn this too. There are 54 countries in Africa. How many languages are spoken in Africa? This is another very big deal. The answer is there are over 2,000 languages in Africa. One of the things that the African missionaries said to us and the Africans themselves, you can leave Africa, but Africa never leaves you. And so this is me training at the end of a training with Nazarene pastors that live up in the province of Tet in Mozambique just before John and I left Africa in 2011. The Zambezi River is in the background. We found out that you can leave Africa, but Africa can never leave you. Just like some of these missionaries who are pictured on this slide, Dr. Ken Walker and his wife Linda, Reverend Tom Nostein and his wife Laura Lee, and Dr. Ted Esselstyn. They founded a nonprofit called Education Development United Fellowship in 2006 because they wanted to continue to be connected to Africa and the educational leaders there so that they could keep on working for Africa even while they were in the United States. When these top leaders left leadership in 2020, the board of EDUF elected Dr. Randy Craker as board chairman and elected me as the president of EDUF. The purpose for EDUF has always been to increase access to ministerial training across the continent. And I like this picture that's in the slide that shows ladders of different sizes and different colors, ladders at different levels, going towards academic preparation at the top of the ladder. In 1980, when we might have been in Africa, we were in Portugal at that time, but there were 9 countries on the Africa region where the Church of the Nazarene was serving. But now in 2023, there are 44 countries where the Church of the Nazarene is serving in Africa. So the need for multiple ladders to climb up to academic preparation is very great. Why are there insufficient numbers now? Part of it is because not all of the courses of studies are offered in languages that are the heart languages of the pastors, and part of it is the sheer size of the church, the number of churches that there are. In fact, look carefully at this slide. Africa has about 8,500 local Nazarene churches and about 1,800 ordained clergy, making 4.7 churches for every ordained elder. In the pipeline and training are another 2,500. If and when all of these 2,500 are ordained, there'll be 4,300 elders, so it will be 1.98 churches per elder. But by that time, there'll be more churches, so the race is on to train many, many more. This gentleman is our friend, Dr. Gabriel Benjamin. We're in covenant partnership with him. EDUF communicates with him on a regular basis, listens to his needs, and then EDUF tries to speak for him. But imagine his job. He is the head of all Nazarene education in all of Africa. How would you like that job? So, who will assist him with this great challenge? Who will speak to the great need to train pastors in Africa? Well, EDUF has been speaking to this need and continues to speak. These are some of our members, and we live in places in states scattered all over the United States. We usually meet by Zoom, but with General Assembly, we had the rare opportunity to sit down with Dr. Gabe and some of the other top educational leaders across Africa and listen to them and be in the same space with them and even pray beside them. It was a great opportunity. Still, our our core activities to make those ladders become realities are connecting, creative access, library development, project teams, and resourcing our mission, everything based and undergirded by prayer. Remember, the purpose of EDUF is to increase access to Nazarene ministerial education throughout Africa. EDUF leaders got to fellowship with each other, which isn't very common, and with the African partners at the African breakfast that was Saturday morning at General Assembly. We were happy people to be able to eat together. As we listened to the African leaders, we heard a challenge that we hadn't heard before. The challenge is that Jehovah's Witnesses are producing their resource materials, their education materials, in many of those mother tongues across Africa. And unfortunately, we don't have the materials in all those mother tongues. So again, the race is on to produce educational materials in as many languages as we can. As they say in Africa, tuko pamoja, which means we are together, and together we can do it. We can make a big difference in ministerial education across Africa. Thank you.